All right. We are live. Karl and Adrian, how's it going, guys?
Going very
Very
well,
good,
thank you.
thanks.
Good. Good to see you guys. And Karl, I have fond memories of you, obviously being the speaker at the very first iGaming X back in 2019. Welcome back, and Adrian, obviously, nice to have gotten to know you also over the last year. Hope you are both doing well. We have a really interesting topic today in front of us here, which is titled "What Lies Beneath." An inside look at how Microsoft empowers iGaming. But before we dive into this, I'd love to just ask you guys for some quick introductions. And when you say what lies beneath, like, can you explain a little bit what you mean by that? So perhaps Karl, if you want to go first, or Adrian, feel free.
No worries. I'll go first then.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm Adrian Gatt. I'm from Microsoft Greece, Cyprus, and Malta, and I'm leading our efforts to bring Microsoft and Azure closer to the iGaming community. When it comes to the topic, what lies beneath, I mean, essentially, here we're talking about this industry is a tech-driven industry. Most of the companies are basically developing products and leveraging technology to improve the products, make them better, and ultimately, well, what lies beneath are really and truly technology providers just like Microsoft, and therefore we are the ones at the bottom of everything that are enabling this to be possible. So that's what the reason why we call it what lies beneath.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. And Karl.
Yeah, hi. So great to be back virtually, Pierre. Yeah, I'm working at cloud as a cloud solution architect globally now at Microsoft. So slight title change through the years. And basically, we like to talk about tech intensity, and I think iGaming industry is all about tech intensity. It's driven by tech, and as Adrian has said, it's going to be about the tech stack. I consult with a lot of our partners and customers globally, so global enterprises in multiple industries, and working with some of our biggest partners worldwide, so some of the global system integrators. So I hope to bring to this discussion a little bit of enterprise knowledge and what we've done with such big partners across the world.
Awesome. Happy to have you guys here. And Microsoft is kind of a bit of a newcomer in this in the iGaming space, in a sense. I mean, you guys obviously presented in iGaming X 2019, and then again in 2020. And when you were dipping your toes in the water in 2019, and when you came to iGaming X, can you talk a little bit what your message has been to the industry, and how has that message evolved between 2019 and 20? Karl.
Well, it's certainly been a journey, Pierre, and one that wouldn't have been possible without iGaming Next for sure. We came in, with Adrian, feet on the ground in 2019, and our message was, or our approach was about humility. It wasn't about coming in and dictating, what we knew about the industry, because, we weren't actually in that industry before. We've been a global cloud player, right, for a very long time, and we've disrupted other industries. And so our approach was to bring that, that industry knowledge from sister industries such as online gaming, for example, and e-commerce and a bunch of other industries which we've disrupted. And our initial message was all about, designed to disrupt and bringing disruptive innovation. So, it's a very competitive industry, iGaming. And so we wanted to make sure that we could bring novel ways of approaching perhaps old problems, or bringing better customer experiences, and in this case, player experiences. So we wanted to play across the stack. We weren't kind of going to limit ourselves to just end user experience, but how do we bring an enterprise platform, or actually be an enterprise partner for the iGaming industry players? We talked about improving operations and releasing products faster. And I think our message evolved over time as we learned and as we tried things with the gaming industry. Adrian was, instrumental in gathering that feedback and actually, talking about our wins that we've had over those 2 years. So the message really evolved quickly. In 2 years, we were from a very kind of, humble entrance to somebody who could actually share, real experiences in that field. I don't know if you want to add anything, Adrian.
No, I think you summed that up really well, Carl. I mean, Microsoft invested in this industry. I'm sort of the testament of that investment as well, personally. And we did come here. I came in with the humility to go and speak to the iGaming companies. We listened to them, we heard them, we learned from them, and basically then we said, okay, this is what the industry is about, and this is how we are going to help support them going forward and help them grow.
Awesome. And, speaking about humility, my perception of Microsoft, maybe I'm the only one here, but I remember looking back at like the 2000s and seeing like Steve Ballmer run on stage, screaming, "I love this company," and that typical, like, I'm not gonna say typical, but like a very American approach, let's say. But your current CEO, Satya Nadella, has a bit of a different approach. He feels much more zen, let's say, in comparison to that. Can you guys talk a little bit about like the transformation in culture that the company has gone through, and how this has changed the organization, and also how you deal with your clients externally as well?
So it's. I mean, I've been through both CEOs, and I've seen a huge difference. I mean, not only did he say what you just said, but he would scream developer, yes, or Linux is a cancer, and so it's not with pride that I say that. I came in as a technical evangelist or a developer advocate. Even the title was terrible, but as time went by, instead of trying to kill the competition or literally beat them, the new CEO came in and just said, listen, let's embrace the competition. Let's accept open source on our cloud platform and make it a first-class citizen. So not just kind of accept it, but embrace the competition. We actually donate code or contribute code to open source organizations nowadays. We're not just the making a closed proprietary set of software anymore. So we went from this kind of maybe an arrogant stance that most people remember to now this kind of we want to work with all parties at the table. And most people would think if you want to work with Microsoft, you have to change the way you operate. And clearly our message is not that anymore. It's, listen, we will come on your terms. We will bring the cloud on your terms to your data center, whether that's a hybrid or whether that's moving into the cloud. We're going to give choice. With Microsoft, it's not about saying you must change your programming language, you must change your platform, you must re-platform. You can come and just rehost if you want. You don't have to actually redo all of your work and start all over again. So it's definitely been a journey of epic proportions.
Yeah, talk about like a cultural shift. I mean, going from this very very like closed ecosystem to obviously be able to work with open source and externally. It's interesting to see. But as a global tech giant, what role do you think technology plays for the iGaming industry? And how do you see technology as a business enabler and differentiator? Maybe Adrian, you can take this one.
Yeah, sure. I mean, from our perspective, at least, we see ourselves that we want to partner with the industry. We want to partner with the companies that we work with. We don't want to be seen just as vendors, as a cost center. We want to bring impactful value to these organizations. Ultimately, the iGaming industry is part of a huge global entertainment industry. And these companies are jostling for airtime in a very, very fiercely competitive industry. So ultimately, what the companies are trying to do is improve the products, make them better and better, and we are here to make sure that we are supporting these organizations to develop their best-of-breed products, which is essentially a subset of many, many individual products. So and this is what Karl was referring to as the technology stack. And we are here to help organizations, to do that, to get better and better. We want them to be, we don't want them to be dependent on us. We want them to be independent with us. And the more of the technology stack that you sort of own, ultimately will allow you to be more agile, more innovative, and be able to try new things and stay ahead of the competition. And remember, we're not talking about the competition of other gaming companies, but the whole entertainment business. And going back to the entertainment industry, I mean, recently I spoke to a CEO, and we talked about entertainment and the content being the king. Content is king. So when you look at organizations, and we can help them optimize the development cycle to improve their the development of their games and be more effective with the same amount of time and develop, say, an extra 20% more games in a period of a year, that might actually mean 20% more revenue. And this is hugely impactful. So we were saying you keep your same resources, but you manage to develop an extra 20% of your games. I mean, this is through optimizing your DevOps cycle. And lastly, I think nowadays we're talking about the era of data. This is a data-heavy industry. A lot of the companies are processing millions of transactions per month, and it is how these organizations are actually managing to leverage this data, either for improved business decision making or to improve their products. So ultimately, we're talking about moving on from BI to AI, or not just descriptive analysis, but prescriptive analysis or predictive analysis. What can we do to make these things better? So the power of real-time data and the visualization tools. These are all areas that we can bring impact and allow companies to differentiate or to innovate going forward.
Cool. Thanks, Adrian. And something I've been thinking about is a bit of an elephant in the room here, obviously, but when it comes to the cloud space, it seems like within gaming that AWS, Amazon Web Services, has more proliferation compared to Azure. Is this statement correct, you feel? I mean, this is a perception that I have in general, looking into this space. And if you agree, why do you think that is? And, how does Azure compare to AWS?
Okay, I'll take this one. Karl, if you don't mind. Sure. The global cloud space is predominantly dominated by three players, essentially, and AWS and Azure are two of them. I agree in a way that AWS has some increased proliferation in the industry, and this is predominantly coming from the fact that, like I said, iGaming companies are tech-driven organizations. So back 6-7 years ago, when infrastructure as a service on the cloud was becoming more common, the only cloud that was mature enough at the time was AWS. So essentially, a lot of the companies who wanted to adopt a cloud strategy had one choice. And eventually, if, say, you were working at company A and 4 of the members started working on AWS technologies and then all moved to other companies, they all took the know-how with them and started adopting more and more of AWS technologies. Fast forward to today, I think that in terms of cloud services, Azure is comparable to AWS, and in fact, the technology, the companies are actually looking at more tech maturity. And when I say tech maturity, is because they're moving on from infrastructure as a service to platform as a service, and this is where Microsoft is also driving more and more services to support these organizations. We were looking to be able to ensure that these companies are future ready, and we are offering them choice. So it doesn't mean that because they are using a company is using AWS, it cannot also be using Azure. We're seeing a lot of companies also adopting multi-cloud strategies. So I think there's space for different clouds to exist. And more importantly, our as Karl was saying, our platform is a flexible one, and where, for example, you can it allows you to develop open source application development, provide scale real time data management, and quite a few other things. So platform as a service is a way to go, and we are there with all the services that an organization might require from our side. I don't know, Karl, if you want to add something from your side.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't typically compare feature for feature. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to look and see what's good for your business. What functionality can you leverage? And I just like to kind of hinge back on the Azure side of things that, we don't typically come in with it's either the cloud or on premises. We find a lot of companies like the Azure mechanism of this hybrid notion. So you can move as much to the cloud or as little as you need. And I think that's giving us an advantage against the competitors that we're up against in the cloud industry. We're definitely a challenger, and you can always expect innovation to come from the challenger rather than an incumbent. So we hope to surprise the industry with a lot of new features. One that just came out at Ignite yesterday was hollow portation and Microsoft Mesh. We just have that broad reach across so many industries that we can afford to innovate and hopefully spill those across.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting future, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to see the hologram presentation that your CEO did the other day internally. You talked about it the other day here, Colin. I'm still excited to see that actually. But to summarize, I mean, what it seems that it's not perhaps a question always of AWS or Azure. There's hybrid solutions here as well, and I guess that's important to keep in mind here. As we look forward a little bit now, it's interesting to hear what you guys can do for the iGaming industry and where Microsoft Azure fits into our industry. But how does these concepts that you mentioned relate to other industries? Do you have any examples of how you have worked with Microsoft Azure in other industries?
Yeah, I'll take the start of this, Adrian. But I think, I've worked a lot now with telcos, a lot of the major global players, and Microsoft has signed strategic agreements with these telcos. And you may ask, why am I bringing this as an example? But, telcos are now facing this issue where they want to bring digital engagement and creative and attractive digital experiences to their customers, whether it's over 5G or legacy networks. It's all about engaging their customers. And when they build up these organizations, they're typically built of multiple parts which need to work together. So they don't typically go to one single vendor and buy everything as a complete stack. So we can take a lot of that kind of building block analogy and how these systems talk to one another and how that data is actually shared into the iGaming industry. If you are building up a tech stack, then you may want to use one platform provider, one OSS building block, and then maybe some closed source. So we see that happening there as well. And we also see a lot in that industry of B2B and B2C type of consumer platforms being built. At the end of the day as well, they are turning towards cloud native, which is something I think the iGaming industry is doing as well. From a technological perspective, it's all about breaking things down into smaller components so that when you scale at the scale you do, when there are big events, you don't fall over as a system. And so this, cloud native workload, this containerization is what's happening in the telco industry. And it's all software defined. So things can grow and shrink, very, very rapidly. And it's the same in the iGaming industry. You can have big events where, you're saturated with a bigger than usual spike, and then you need to shrink all of that back down. And all of that needs to work seamlessly across multiple vendors, for example.
Adrian, anything to add to that?
No, even for the last example you've mentioned, last year during COVID, the organizations that were living on the cloud already, the agility to be able to scale down when there was no sports activity, it helped them save hundreds of thousands of euros, and this is definitely an actual implementation of what is happening in the iGaming industry. From other industries, we've been recently as well talking to our colleagues from the GameStack team, which is responsible for the Xbox. So Microsoft is also not new to game development, notwithstanding on the casual games, so the Xbox side of things. So how different is the way that games are being developed within our own ecosystem, and how can that be transported to the iGaming industry? So that would be another example. One other one is the sports entertainment industry. How are the global sports brands leveraging technology to have better customer experiences? And we've been doing that from a sports entertainment basis, and we're trying to sort of bring that into the iGaming industry as well. So lots of things to bring from our, we're a huge organization. My objective is to bring more lessons learned from other industries and bring them to this industry and see how they can actually work. It's about innovation as well, and how we can help this industry become even more innovative.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. So to summarize here today a little bit, we've talked about Microsoft Azure, how you guys can kind of help the industry. How do you compare it to AWS? How do you compare it to other industries that you're active in? So just, Adrian, looking forward now, What should the industry expect from Microsoft as a little final question today?
Yes, I mean, I hope that we. I mean, first and foremost, we have a local presence, and none of these big cloud vendors have any of this local presence. I am on the ground, and with me there's a big pool of resources that I bring in together. We have industry expertise, experience, and know-how. We, as Karl mentioned, we bring choice to the industry, where before it was one single cloud, or it's either this or that. We're bringing a new alternative, so to speak, which is also a flexible one as well, with our unified cloud technology platform. We also have several initiatives and incentives to help the organizations move into their cloud journey, such as proof of concept funding. We also offer solutions assessment funding, so that we can come in and assess how, depending on the Microsoft technology you want to adopt, you can leverage that and improve your infrastructure, for example. We're bringing free training to the industry. We have a schedule of monthly trainings to upskill the technical, the IT pros, and not only the IT pros. We also have a curated list of local and global partners that we can propose to the industry, to whoever wants to work with us, based on what their requirements really are. So I think all of this is helping to empower every iGaming organization, to try and achieve more than what they're doing. So I think this encompasses of what we are bringing to the table. We are here to listen to the organizations. We even rolled out an outreach program at the beginning of this year. So some organizations perhaps have already heard from us, but we are tending our hand to the industry. We're like, tell us your story, tell us how we can help you, and we take it from there. So quite a bit. Awesome. We're inviting our customers to amazing events such as the Microsoft Ignite of this week, and we just want to be a partner to the organizations, and we're here to listen.
Awesome. And the iGaming industry is here with open arms, that's for sure. Guys,
amazing.
It's been a pleasure to have you guys on here today. As always, we had a couple of lead-up calls to this event, and it's been a learning experience for me to actually dig into Microsoft Azure and what you guys are doing to prepare for this panel today. So I thank you for that opportunity. And to close things off today, the past is the past, the old Microsoft is the old Microsoft, the new Microsoft is the new Microsoft, and Steve Ballmer had this, like you said, called this legendary developers shout. So I would like to end today with a cloud services shout, okay? Well,
awesome.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day, okay?
Thank you, Pierre, for having us.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.